Hi, I appreciate you guys having me here today. My name's Scott Klein, and I've been in the steel industry for many years, but I was with the Cleveland Cavaliers for a couple years and really enjoyed it. And I understand you guys might have some questions about a career in sports. Well, coming from a different generation than you guys, today's world of Twitter and texting and email even, we didn't have that when I was younger. But the mediums that introduced me to it were newspapers and TV and radio. Like when I was a kid, I used to listen to the Cincinnati Reds baseball games every night on the radio with my mom. There was no ESPN back then where you had sports updates every morning. And when you got your newspaper, that was often when you first found out if your team even won the night before. At any rate, I fell in love with sports as a kid and thought working in professional sports would be an awesome way to have a career. No, I realized I was never going to be a professional athlete, but then when I went to college, sports management wasn't as big a thing at colleges as it is now. So I just took communications, which I really enjoyed. It was a great degree, and it got me into my career I have now, which is in sales. So at any rate, I was in the steel industry, but I've been going to Cleveland Cavaliers games, and I loved going to the games, and I still always had a dream of being involved in professional sports. So just by chance, one day I was having a bad day at work, and I decided to call the Cleveland Cavaliers on a whim. And I said, hey, do you guys need a bright young guy to come in there? And the lady kind of laughed at me on the phone, quite frankly. But she said, if you wanted to, you could join the Cavs crew. So I said, well, sure, I'll do that. And so it was really cool.
And you're getting paid.
Right, $6 an hour, but back then that was like minimum wage, whatever, and I had a full-time job for my money. So I would have done it for free, quite frankly, because it was a blast. And through that, I got to meet people who were like vice presidents, managers, whatever, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And so started to be able to talk to them, see them after games. And so I got to know more and more people. Then as jobs opened up at the Cavaliers for full-time jobs on the business side, not the athletic side, I interviewed and I ended up getting a job full-time as the club seat sales manager. The job is really great, and there are tons of perks with working in professional sports. A lot of times after the games, with being like one of the leaders of the Cavs crew guy, if they had like a special party after the game for some of the players, you would go in there and like watch the door. So I was always around the players. Concerts that were held at the venue, I could go to them free as an employee. And we had our lanyard that you wore that showed you were a Cavs employee, so you could move around the stadium and get right up next to the stage. I mean, the perks were unbelievable. But at the same time, I had one daughter who was about 3 years old, and my wife was pregnant with another one. So what happens, we lived about an hour and 15 minutes away from downtown, so I would have to commute that every day. And we had to work till 5:30, and when there were games, you worked till 10, 11, or midnight because you were always there. Then you had the WNBA come about, so you had Rockers games you had to go to. Then you would have season ticket holder events that you would have to go to. So you're working a 60-hour week as it is. Then you throw in the games, which happen between the Cavs, the Rockers, and the special events, another 60 nights a year. So it became very time demanding. And the main reason I left was for the kids, kind of like, why have kids if you're not home to watch them grow up? So I left sports and went back to the steel industry, and I've been in that now for the last 15, 20 years. There's times when I think about it, like when they drafted LeBron James and all of a sudden it was a sellout every night, and as a ticket sales manager, you'd be making more money because of sellouts, and the excitement that goes with that. And should the city of Cleveland ever actually win a championship in a sport, it certainly would be nice to be involved with that. Overall, though, I had to make a choice between personal goals and family goals. And really, what's more important in life, if you're going to get married and raise kids, than to take a career where they're not able to be the priority in your life? That trade-off wasn't worth it. So do I miss being in professional sports once in a while? Yes, I do. But do I regret the decision I made? Not once. Minutes ago.
On behalf of Hannah and I, we would like to thank you for allowing us to interview you.
You're very welcome. It was very nice to meet you today. Oh, that's got to go in.